this afternoon for the Minot Area Chamber EDC Government Affairs Committee Candidate Forum for the Minot Park District. We've got a good audience here with us, and we're very proud of our candidates. This is our first candidate forum ahead of the June 2024 primary. My name is Mark Lyman. I'm an employee of the Minot Area Chamber EDC, as well as a member of the MAC EDC Government Affairs Committee, and I'll be the moderator for our forum. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining us in person, those who are here at the City Hall. If you're watching live online and would like to propose a question to be asked of all the candidates tonight, please feel free to drop that question in the chat or comment section of Facebook or YouTube, whatever you might be watching on. We will be reviewing those suggestions and asking them if possible. And then again, to those who are in the audience, you have an opportunity to fill out a question card on the desk up here if you have a question that you'd like to have asked of each of the candidates. We are scheduled to go until 5:30 today, but it may very well be that we are done early, depending on the brevity of the responses and the amount of questions that we get from the audience. We do have 3 candidates running for 2 open seats on the Minot Park District Board. One of our candidates is an incumbent, 2 are challengers. In alphabetical order, they are as follows: Cliff Hovda, Chelsea Kirkhammer, and Devin Mance. So Chelsea and Devin, thanks for coming today. Cliff has told us that he won't be here. We actually have allowed him a chance to just make a few comments, and I'll read those comments here when the candidates introduce themselves. But we do want to run through a few quick ground rules for the forum. We are asking that the candidates not address each other with their responses, but that they address me as the moderator, and please stay focused on the questions that are asked. To give everyone a chance to respond to these questions, we do ask that you take about a minute or less on each of your responses. Again, thanks to the candidates for choosing to participate in this forum. This will allow voters an opportunity to get to know you and your various positions. As well, thank you to the City of Minot for allowing us use of City Hall and the council chambers to present our forums this week. So to get us started, let's first get to know our candidates. Would each of you please take a minute or so to introduce yourself? Tell us why you're running for the Minot Park District Board. Chelsea, we'll go with you first.
Thank you, Mark. My name is Chelsea Kirkhammer. I'm a longtime resident of Minot since attending college here. I have a great love for Minot and for maintaining quality of life for our communities. Minot Parks provides a lot to us in terms of quality of life, from parks, walking trails, indoor facilities, and recreational opportunities for all generations. My husband and I have 3 children, all who are users of Minot Park facilities. So I have a deep desire to have a helping hand in maintaining and growing those facilities for future. Excuse me. My time spent at the Minot Area Community Foundation showed me how important it is to invest in our community in order to keep it fresh and revitalized. My experiences not only there, but in other areas of the community, I believe have well prepared me for this next step in supporting our community through public service through the Minot Park Board. And I would be very honored and excited if elected.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chelsea. Devin, why don't you go next?
My name is Devin Mance. I've got 4 children here that use the parks almost daily. We live a block away from one, so they thoroughly enjoy going over there and when we're not in our 9 months of cold weather. I work for BNSF Railroad. I'm a union worker for them, Brotherhood of Maintenance Way employees, and I'm just trying to get more involved. I've been encouraging people to get more civically engaged for quite a few years now. And I've done, national politics, state politics, city politics. I thought it was time for me to put my name in the hat for something that I could still take care of my children and not have to take up 24 hours of my day. So Park Board is a great spot to do that. We thoroughly enjoy the parks and the facilities that Minot provides. So that's why I'm here.
Okay, thank you, Devin. Thank you, Chelsea, as well. I do want to read a few comments from Cliff. Again, Cliff could not make it today. He stated the following: I feel it has been a privilege to be involved in making our park system better each year. We've made significant improvements while still being very aware that we are stewards of the public's money. Minot Park District has received generous donations, both public and anonymous. Those, as well as money from booster groups, user fees, and grants, have allowed us to leverage the taxpayers' money. We have made many additions and improvements in my time as a commissioner. Some of those include Mesa Pepsi Rink, Red Panda exhibit, lion, tiger, and leopard habitats, walking paths at the family recreation area, aviary, the water slide at Roosevelt Pool, girls' fast pitch softball fields, new lights and artificial turf at Corbett Field, new zoo entrance building, Oak Park Amphitheater, new tennis courts at Hammond Park, pickleball courts, 2 splash pads, and the new Shields Complex at South Hill. This is a remarkable list of accomplishments while being very fiscally responsible. These are all good long-term investments for the city. Cliff continues to state, my background as a former school administrator, guidance counselor, and teacher has given me skills in collaboration, supervision, community relations, and decision-making, which have all served me well as a commissioner. I hope to continue to bring my experience in long-term planning, budgeting, and implementation to the Minot Park District. I would very much like to continue serving the citizens of Minot, and I would appreciate your vote. So having done introductions now, let's dive right into the first question. This question will go to Devin first, and I've already told the candidates we're just going to bounce back and forth between each other. So the first question, Devin, do you support the direction of the current or recently redone 10-year facility plan for the Minot Park District?
Yeah, thank you. I do. I think that looking to the future is really important. We need to be fiscally responsible with our money, and in order to do so, you can't just make decisions offhand and go with them. I mean, we're talking about a lot of money here and a whole community and other communities coming here. So we need to make sure that we are on the right path, and I think that the Minot Park Board has done a great job at that. The Minot Park District has done a great job at guiding that, and so, yeah, I'm fully on board.
Okay. Chelsea, same question to you. Do you support the direction of the recently redone 10-year facility plan for the Park District?
Yes, I do support. I think that the path that the current park board has set out for the future is something that I am on board with. I would be excited to have a seat at the table to give my input on further revisions if necessary, but I support the plan, yes.
Okay. Next question, we'll start with you, Chelsea, on this one for the first answer. What would you change or enhance if you were elected to the Park District Board?
That's tough to say specifically what I would change or enhance. I have been recently reaching out to various user groups, and the common theme between all of them is that they all need more time in their current facilities. Our youth programs continue to grow, which is a great problem to have, but there's always growing pains. And so I think we just have to look at each user group's needs and what is fiscally responsible for each of those areas. And that's where I would like to see forging forward is just additional time with the existing facilities and maintaining those in order to accommodate all of the current user groups.
Okay, thank you, Chelsea. Devin, same question. What would you change or enhance if you were elected to the Park District Board?
Yeah, so, a lot of people going around and running for this position, you start to hear issues with the park board, and everybody's got something to say. But there's not a ton of people who are standing up here and willing to do something about it. But so I'm taking into consideration what I have heard just over the last few months, and there's a lot of just facility maintenance, just updating facility maintenance, which we were just talking about. So I'm, again, fully on board with that. I think that just building new facilities all the time isn't really the way to go, and it's not fiscally responsible. So I don't know if I would necessarily change a lot unless we were changing directions at some point down the road. I would want to veer us and keep going down the current road that we're at right now, where we're just enhancing our current facilities that are being outdated we need to update them and ensure that they're being used properly.
Okay, thank you to both of you. Next question, we'll start with Devin on this one. This one has you looking down the road a little bit. How do you envision the Park District and the Park Board playing a role in impacting our city's quality of life or our region's quality of life?
That's deep. So looking down the road, I kind of see, as we know, like where the Park District gets their money from. There's a couple different revenue streams, but one of them is sales tax. And so in order to have a thriving community, you need to have a good park system and good facilities so that we bring people in. If we let those deteriorate and don't bring tournaments in for sports or other things like the circus, then it's just going to keep on going downhill. So I'm really adamant that we support that community growth by just continually making our facilities better and upgraded, because that's what's going to bring in that revenue to pay for that in the first place. So that's about it.
Okay, thank you, Devin. Chelsea, same question. How do you envision the Park District and the Park Board playing a role in impacting our city's quality of life?
Yeah, I think currently and in the future, the Minot Parks plays a large role in quality of life for our community. As I stated before, everything from parks and indoor facilities, especially in the winter, obviously, in our climate, and also providing recreational opportunities for kids in the summer and adults also with all the different programming. That is quality of life. So I think the park is already playing a large role in that, and I think just maintaining, again, those facilities and updating them so that we can continue to keep everything fresh and revitalized for the coming generations.
Okay. I'll do a reminder here really fast again to everyone in the audience and to anyone online who's following live. If you have questions, please pop those in the chat or in the comment section. Or if you're here again, we've got sheets of paper up here. Please fill out some questions and get them in. I'm halfway done with mine already, so we're moving through fast. Let's keep the questions coming from the public. We're going to come back to you, Chelsea, to start with. What new or unique partnerships or insights would you bring to the Minot Park Board? What new or unique partnerships or insights would you bring to the Minot Park Board?
That's a tough question. As far as new insights, I think as a mother of 3 children that are currently kind of in the thick of it, as you would say, as far as sporting activities, I think that would obviously be a fresh perspective as somebody who's currently in that, using all the facilities and things like that. As far as groups, I guess I'm not sure what kind of new groups I could bring, but besides, just that, representing that group of people as a family and as a mother.
Okay, thank you, Chelsea. Same question, Devin. What new or unique partnerships or insights would you bring to the Minot Park Board?
Yeah, thank you. So I think that just being a younger person for now, I still call myself that. Some days I don't know, but I think that brings a different perspective. Also coming here with 4 children that use the facilities all the time and through sports or different activities, I think it's really important. And so I do think I bring that little bit different than some people who are either currently on the board or running. As I said, I have 4 kids. It's a lot of running around. To make things a little bit easier for our park facilities, I think I see it a lot. So also I'm working class. I'm pretty average American, and I come from a point of view where I'm not a business owner. I work for a living all the time. I work a lot of hours, but I also facilitate that with my kids as well. So I think that's just kind of what I bring to the table here.
Okay, thank you, Devin. Thank you, Chelsea. Next question we'll start with Devin. Devin, what facilities or parks would be your highest priorities for investments or improvements? Both of you have mentioned that you would talk about improving what's there. What are those facilities or parks that would be the highest priorities for investments or improvements?
Yeah, so as I stated before, we were talking about some of the baseball fields and stuff that a lot of people have been discussing with me. I've gotten calls ever since I said I was getting my name in the hat for this position, and a lot of it was the North Hill ball diamonds up there. There's been some issues with maintenance there and with rodents as well, and I'm under the understanding that the park board has been trying to do something about this, but it does take resources to do it, so they can only do so much. That is one area where I think that we can improve on, and not just that. Places like up at the North Hill and the Jack Hoven ball diamonds. A lot of kids are out there playing ball throughout the summer, and you spend hours and hours and hours out there. Being a dad that has done that. There's a lot of younger siblings that are out there too, and that's part of the issue. Is a lot of these facilities are getting beat down. I mean, these kids are running all over the place. Give them somewhere to be, right? So give them a playground. Give them something to do while they're sitting there for hours. I think that those are really important facilities to keep up with, but also the auditorium. Just building that up. It costs a lot of money to completely redo it and to bulldoze it and build it back up. But if we improve it now, this will save us in the future. So.
Okay, thank you, Devin. Chelsea, same question. What facilities and/or parks would be your highest priorities for investments or improvements?
So I've also visited with a number of people who've given me some insight into areas that maybe need additional lighting. I was visiting with some baseball people that additional lighting at Hoven, additional lighting at Hammond Park for the tennis people. Also accessibility. The playgrounds that have wood chips are advertised as ADA compliant, and this is not the case necessarily for maneuvering wheelchairs, walkers, things like that when there's wood chips. And then also there's just some other small things in that realm. Also, concession stands are all above eye level. Woodland Park bridges are not accessible for wheelchairs, et cetera. So those are just some of the insight I got in terms of accessibility. So those might be some high priorities, and then just improving some of the things like the benches at Hammond Park. I can't remember off the top of my head some of the other things that I got feedback on, but those are just a few things that I think sounded like would maybe be high priority.
Okay, thank you. We're going to go back to you now, Chelsea, to start our next one. This one's a little bit more of a fun one. What current Minot Park initiatives or activities are you most excited about?
So obviously the summer activities that are coming up, my kids, couple of my kids play tennis, so already getting into that and looking forward to that, and then baseball for summer. And then I just think it's great, all the things that Minot Park District offers for summer activities. I mean, there's even art classes, there's adult pickleball leagues now, the kayak rentals, like there's just so much. But I would say just for my family and I, it's probably the baseball and the tennis that we're most looking forward to.
Okay. And Devin, same question for you. What current Minot Park initiatives or activities are you most excited about?
Yeah, so what my family really enjoys doing is we enjoy sitting down at night and watching a movie together. That's our thing. So I really look forward to the summertime, be able to sit outside and do that. At the park, as most of you probably know, we do a movie in the park, and I think it's really cool, and there's a lot of people who show up for it. So I'm kind of looking forward to doing that this summer. Also, just going out and watching baseball. It's just kind of fun just to sit out there and get a little sun and Maybe not when it's 100 degrees out, but it's a lot of fun just to hang out there. In the past, this is kind of a touchy subject because this is something that I've been hearing a lot about too, but at Roosevelt Park, there's been a lot of trees that have been cut down, and people are, very adamant that that is not good, and I agree. But I understand what's happening, and so I'm actually really looking forward just to seeing how that all comes and gets put back together. Right now, it's a little scary. We really enjoyed going out there and playing and letting the dog run, but now that's going to be changing a little bit. So I'm just kind of excited to see how that landscape starts changing here in the future.
Okay. Thank you, Devin, and thank you, Chelsea. Next couple of questions are more financially related, so a little harder hitting than that last one. Devin, we'll start with you first on this question. The individual states there was a mill levy increase last year as well as increases in valuations. Do you support future increases?
Yeah, good question. So as I stated earlier, I am a middle class, pretty normal person. I do not, believe that we need to increase things. I think there's a lot of burden on our taxpayers as it is. That being said, we do still have to do certain things and pay certain taxes in order to keep up the quality of life that we want. That's just the reality of the situation. If you want streets, you have to pay taxes. Otherwise, things are going to be a little rough. But I do not believe in, overburdening our taxpayers, right? We have enough to worry about at home with kids and, paying for groceries and just paying for gas, for anything nowadays. It's getting to be a struggle for a lot of people. So no, I don't believe in increasing. I actually believe in, saving a little bit of money. If you, as a homeowner, you always have to make sure you have a little bit of cash on the side. What if your furnace goes out or your water heater? You need to be able to pay for those things. And I don't think that, just because we didn't budget for this expense that something goes wrong and we should have to worry about that. I think that we should be able to have that money sitting there for a rainy day fund in case something were to happen to one of our current facilities that are, they are aging. So. Thank you.
Thank you, Devin. Chelsea, same question. There was a mill levy increase last year as well as increases in property valuations. Do you support future increases?
No, it would not be my intent to further increase the burden on the taxpayer. I would like to try to maintain and build upon what we already have with the current funding available.
Okay, thank you. The next question is similar to that. Chelsea, we start with you on this one. The individual asks, do you support the measure to end property tax? I guess it's still gathering signatures. So the measure that is gathering signatures to end property tax and have the state then give the funds from their budget.
So while the idea of no property taxes probably gets everyone really excited, the money has to come from somewhere. So if we're going to either pay it in property taxes or we're going to pay it in other forms of taxes. So I guess I would have to see more research on that about how we would pay for what currently comes from property taxes.
Thank you, Chelsea. Devin, same question. There's currently a signature gathering to have a measure to end property taxes and have the state then give the funds from their budget. Do you support that?
Yeah, as I've said before, these times are hard. I get it. Nobody likes to pay taxes, but again, as I said as well, it's like we all like to drive on streets. So, we do have to pay these taxes in order to have a government. Now, I do believe that there is some waste different places. I don't think in the Park District we really have a lot of waste. I think our Park District does a really good job. A lot of people look at, Congress and in national politics, and then they just, generalize the whole thing that, everybody's wasting money and we don't need property taxes. I just think that idea is kind of wild, but, I'm willing to, have the conversation. But no, I don't. So the park board gets their money from a couple different revenue streams, right? A little bit from property taxes and a little bit from sales tax. I think that as long as we're doing a good job at bringing people into Minot in order to, when you do bring people in, they get hotels, they have to get food, they have to get gas, they have to get, they go shopping, whatever the case might be. That's where a lot of the revenue can be from for the park board. As a park board, we wouldn't be in charge of all the city finances, so that's not all that has to do with us. We're also not in the legislature, so those are kind of bigger questions. But to answer the question in one word is no, I do not support that.
Okay. Next question will go to Devin first. This kind of dovetails with some of the comments you've already made, both of you. The question is, what would you do to diversify the revenue or funding sources to pay for projects and expenses? And Devin, we'll start with you. What would you do to diversify the revenue or funding sources to pay for projects and expenses?
Yeah, so I think, I think the Park District does actually a really good job at this currently. There's a lot of people getting upset over certain things that are being done at the Park District and also, in the terms of like the city. But what a lot of people aren't looking at is how they're getting a lot of these funds. And how they are is there's a lot of grants out there that people are putting in for. And we have, it seems like we have some pretty great grant writers that are doing a good job keeping their eye open for this. I just want to keep on that and making sure that we're getting everything that we can. But as far as diversifying funding, we get it from, sales tax, we get it from property tax, and we're getting a lot of from grants and also donations. I think we're doing a wonderful job at that, and I just want to keep up with that and make sure that we can keep the taxes as low as we can to keep up the facilities. And I don't think anybody wants to lose parks. Who doesn't like parks?
Okay, thank you, Devin. Same question then to you, Chelsea. What would you do to diversify the revenue or funding sources to pay for projects or expenses?
Yeah, so as I stated before, I worked at the Minot Area Community Foundation. So my time there, it was really eye-opening to see what all is out there for fundraising and grants. So that is one thing that I do feel like I'm fairly knowledgeable in, and that would be another way. I know that's already happening, but just exploring that further. Also fundraising within user groups. I think is a great way to support for the user groups to support the facilities that they're using. So I think, as Devin said, I think what's currently happening is great, and I would love to just help build upon that.
Okay, thank you. This question, and please keep the questions coming online and additional questions here in person. We're down to our last 2 or 3. As it stands currently. This question deals with green space. So we know that we've got a fair amount of new or existing green space that's going to be tied to the flood projects throughout the area. Do you have any new or novel or exciting green space ideas that you would bring to the table? Chelsea, you get to tackle this one first.
I guess I don't know if the question is referring to just like in general like activities, like what kind of ideas I have for activities. I guess I'm not sure. I think that there's lots that the parks currently does in Oak Park. I think those are things that we can look at bringing to some of these green spaces. I know we already do the movie in the park and yoga in the park and arts in the park and things like that, but maybe there's some things that we can bring to the green spaces. I don't know, like giant slip and slide or, water parties of that nature or whatever, things like bring your pet to some kind of pet activity, things like that. I think there's tons of opportunities, and I'm probably not the most creative one to be coming up with those.
Okay, fair enough. Devin, same question for you. Do you have any new or novel green space ideas based on the additional flood protection that has added green space or is adding green space to it?
Yeah, so I was at the city council meeting when they discussed like the area just east of Third Street Bridge, in that whole area over there. You know, I'm actually not that big of a fan of all that, and the reason why I say that is because we're just adding more and more maintenance, and that all costs money. Like, I would love to have parks all over, but like it's costly to keep up with this stuff. And so, although it sounds like a great idea, it would be great. I mean, having a disc golf area down there would be awesome. All that stuff costs money, so we just need to take that into consideration when we're doing this. We do have a lot of summertime things, which is kind of one of the reasons why I'm running as well, is because there is. I mean, I think we have a great facilities. We have great infrastructure and activities going on in the summertime. But we live in Minot, North Dakota. We don't have a lot of summertime. So we need to be realistic about that. We need to have a little bit more indoor space. That's what I'm more about, is the wintertime. So no, I'm not actually that big of a fan of the green space areas, just because we only have finite resources and we need to spend them wisely. And I think that we need to be more concentrating on wintertime activities.
Okay, thank you, Devin. I've got one last question here, and some of this has already been touched on in your answers to some of the questions to this point, but maybe if you could be specific again on this question, that'd be great. This came from the audience or from online. What new initiatives, activities, or facilities would you like to implement in the Minot Park system? Devin, I think we're going first on this one because Chelsea went first last time. So again, what new initiatives, activities, or facilities would you like to implement in the Minot Park District?
Yeah, well, like I've said before, I think our park district does a great job. I think we have come a long ways. I graduated high school in 2009, and since then I've noticed there's been a major change. I lived in Fargo for about a year in like 2011. And what I could really tell was that the community was really getting together there. That was a major difference that I just hadn't really seen a lot of growing up here. And I really was jealous of that. I thought that was really cool. So I moved back a year later, and I noticed things were starting to change. And if people take a look at like what has happened in the last 10 years as far as our park district goes, there's been a lot of changing. We've gotten the community a lot better together. It's a shame that supper clubs and that kind of community events have kind of gone downhill. But the park district is trying to fill that void at least a little bit. They're doing their part to try to bring people together. So I think that's really important. But one thing that I would like to see in our current facilities is something that's growing rapidly is different types of martial arts. Whether it be wrestling or it's jiu-jitsu or karate or whatever, I think that we need to do a little bit more of that. There's a lot of that going on now, and kids are getting more involved in this. I don't think our park district has necessarily, provided the resources to do that yet. So I'm looking forward to pushing that agenda a little bit more in the future.
Okay, thank you, Devin. Chelsea, same question for you. What new initiatives, activities, or facilities would you like to implement in the Minot Park system?
So I think just based on the excitement that I've seen with, like, for example, the adult pickleball has really picked up. So just building on that, like what other adult organized activities could we have that don't further strain our facilities in the winter, obviously, but is there a way to get adults together similar to what the pickleball people have built there, with just additional recreational opportunities for adults? I know we're all very busy, so it's hard to imagine getting into something like that, but I think just expanding that programming for adults. And then, as I said before, I think it's more just maintaining the facilities that we have, really taking an initiative to make those improvements and to direct attention towards growing what we currently have is kind of my main priority.
Okay, thank you, Chelsea. We did have one, I wouldn't call it sillier question, but maybe a little more levity come in. Anyone watch Parks and Rec? Devin, clearly, okay. I don't. I'm more of an office guy, but the question comes in, do you watch the sitcom Parks and Rec? And can we expect those types of meetings if you're on the park board? So Devin, you clearly raised your hand. Is that what you're going to bring to the park board?
Yeah, thank you for that very professional question. So I actually have a shirt with Parks and Rec on it. Leslie Knope, the mini horse, and if you watch that show, I'm more of the Leslie Knope kind of person. I do want to expand. I don't just want to chop everything. I'm really appreciative of that question. I think that's great.
Chelsea, any comment on Parks and Rec?
So I think I watched like a season, but it's not that I didn't like it. I did. It's very funny. I'll go back and watch it again.
If elected, that's your first campaign promise. Okay. Well, we are nearing the end. As a matter of fact, I think we are at the end, and I want to allow candidates just a few seconds to think about your closing comments, and then we'll give each of you a couple minutes of time for that. I do want to remind everyone that we do have 2 more candidate forums coming up this week. Minot City Council candidates, Wednesday, April 24th, that's tomorrow at 4 p.m. You can either join us here in the City Council chambers or online. We're on Facebook and on YouTube. And then on Thursday of this week, the Minot School Board candidates, those who can make it, will be here April 25th at 4 p.m. as well. And then, of course, you can go back and listen to these things online as well. So, again, thanks to our candidates, our Park District candidates, for being here tonight, for answering our questions. I'll give you each a minute or two to give some closing comments. I think we ended with Chelsea answering the last one last, so Chelsea, will go with you first. If you would please give your closing comments.
I guess just to sum up what we talked about today, I'm just really excited to be here, and I would be really honored to earn the public's trust in serving on the Minot Park Board. I do think that my experiences within the community in the various jobs that I've had and the boards that I have served on has prepared me well, and I would just love the opportunity to serve. Thank you.
Okay, and Devin?
Yeah, so I want to clarify a little bit. So there is different conversations with green space that we've discussed here and that we've been discussing for years. I do support more areas downtown for green spaces, and my big thing though is maintaining them. Currently, I don't think they did just go through there and do a lot of tree trimming, our forestry department, which is great, but that hadn't been done for a while. It's just, it doesn't look the best. We should be maintaining those. I'm a big tree fan, love planting trees, which leads me to my next thing. The 2,000 trees for Minot has now recently changed to 2,000 because 1,000 was obviously way under and people were really excited about it. So I think that's great. Let's make it 5. Huge fan for that. So, the Roosevelt Park thing is a difficult thing to watch, but we need to be realistic and know what's going on with the flood protection plan and just keep planting trees, because the best day to plant a tree was yesterday and the second best is today. So, the last thing is, I'd just be honored to serve on this position. I've been looking at doing this for quite some time in different capacities, whether I wanted to run for city council or school board or what have you, but I decided city council is a little divisive. This is something that I can do that still allows me time with my children, and I'm doing this because of them. We do have a future generations that are in my household that are going to be watching what I'm doing, watching what we're doing, and so I think it's just extremely important to get involved civically in our communities.
Okay, and thank you to you, Chelsea, and you, Devin. Really appreciate your time today. We want to remind everyone the election is on June 11th from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. for voting. I know that if you ask for a ballot ahead of time, you can do your voting ahead of time if you can't vote on that day. And we hope that everyone will join us tomorrow afternoon for the Minot City Council candidates. Thanks and have a good night. Hey, everyone, continue.